Hello, everybody. This is Marc Cervantes, and this is Cerv's legal morsel of the day. Today, I've got Caden Gilliland of Goosehead Insurance today, and he's going to be speaking about the things that we need to look at for homeowners insurance and other types of insurance. Welcome, Caden.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Good to be here.
I appreciate it. Well, why don't you tell everybody about Goosehead? Because when I first met you, I wasn't sure what Goosehead was. I don't see funny Geico commercial or Goosehead commercials on TV. So tell the audience a little bit about Goosehead and the services that you guys provide.
Absolutely. So Goosehead Insurance, we're essentially just your typical home insurance broker. Personal lines, home and auto insurance. We are the largest or fastest growing independent insurance agency in the country. We've been in Chicago about 3 years now. But yeah, typical broker. We work with about 30 different companies, all A-rated, and we offer excellent customer service.
So you mentioned the word broker. What's the main difference between going to a captive agency, somebody say like a Allstate or a State Farm, versus going to a broker like yourself?
Yeah, so the big difference between the captive agencies, so State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, American Family, those are companies we consider captive agencies, meaning they can only write one product. So they can only write State Farm product. It's one option. And a lot of the times it might not necessarily be the best option for the client. The benefit of working with a broker, I work with a ton of different companies. So every insurance company has kind of different guidelines that they abide by for every client and their situation. And every client's situation is different. So if they have certain claims history, if they live in a certain area, those different factors can factor into what their premium will be for the year. And the luxury of working with a broker is I'm going to be able to shop you through a majority of the market and find the right fit for you, instead of trying to just force one type of policy on you if it just doesn't make sense for you. I'm going to maximize your discounts. I'm going to get to know your situation and truly find the best fit for you. It's really about maximizing that best fit for you when you work with a broker, instead of just being locked into one option if you were working with a captive agent.
So I get a lot of first-time home buyers, people buying their first condominiums, people buying their first single-family home, and they're already spinning from all the terminology with regards to the loan, what's going on with their contract when they want to purchase, and then all of a sudden now they have to pick what their insurance agency is. A lot of people kind of default to who they do their car loans with, but there are a lot of people out there that don't own cars and never bought insurance ever before. So what terminology should people be aware of when it comes to buying homeowners insurance? Well,
so when you buy a home, first thing you're going to find on the home insurance is if you're buying a residential house, you're going to be looking for an HO3 standard homeowners policy. If you're buying a condo, you're looking at an HO6 condo policy. And there's pretty substantial differences between those two policies. If you're buying a residential home, like I said, you're going to be looking at the HO3 policy. And that's going to cover a lot more than a condo HO6 policy. So you're going to be worried about the exterior of the home as well as the interior. So things to consider when you're purchasing the house are going to be the age of the roof, the siding material, whether it's a brick or vinyl siding, if there's a basement attached. All of these are different variables that factor in what your insurance premium will be for the year. And they can range by quite a decent margin if it's an older home, if there's been no significant repairs done to the house, the residential home. On the flip side of that, on the condo insurance side of things, it's a little more straightforward. When you're purchasing a condo unit, you're really only, from an insurance perspective, you're really only concerned about the interior of the unit. So there's two big cost drivers there. Covering, from an insurance perspective, you're looking to cover the interior of the unit if there was to be a claim. And then you're going to be looking to cover your personal property that you move into the unit with. So it's a little more straightforward, I'd say, when you're looking to purchase a condo as far as insurance is concerned. However, on the residential home side, there is a lot more variables that go into what your rate is. And personally, I do work with a lot of first-time home buyers. And that's kind of part of my process, is really just educating the client, making sure that they understand that there are other endorsements you can add onto the policy, and really just getting generally educated as to what exactly is covered on the residential home policy.
Let's define endorsements. When people buy their insurance policy, obviously certain things of the interior are going to be covered. I know for a fact, when I've had insurance policies before, we're able to put my wife's engagement ring as part of her homeowner's policy. What endorsements do you recommend, or what endorsements are available for people to add to their homeowner's insurance?
Yeah, so endorsements essentially are just extra coverages that are not automatically included in the standard home policy, okay? So in the Illinois market specifically, there are 3 endorsements I always like to have a conversation with the clients I'm working with that are looking to buy a new home. First and most important being that water backup coverage. So water backup coverage, think of like the sinks and drains and toilets in your household. If like a pipe were to break, or one of the sewer lines beneath your property were to cause a bunch of water to spill back through the drains in your home, where water should only be going down, this is considered a water backup claim. And it is the most common claim within households across the country. So especially in Illinois, homes with basements are more susceptible to water backup claims. So it's the number one endorsement I'm always going to recommend homeowners put on their policy, whether it's a condo or a residential home. In my opinion, it is an essential endorsement to have on your home policy, especially when it's your first time buying a house. You want to make sure that you're protecting that asset as best possible.
And you're going to go over different analysis with the people if they were to call you as to what's necessary, what's not necessary, because all these endorsements cost extra on top of the normal policy,
Absolutely.
correct?
Absolutely. So they're all additional. What I typically do is I present my quote without any additional endorsements, right? And then I kind of walk you through all of the coverages I recommend, and then we kind of get a basis for what your monthly payment is going to look like if you're paying through an escrow, or if you pay just out of pocket month over month.
Okay. Now, not all insurance companies are created equal. So there's a rating system in which insurance companies have. Can you explain to people, when you put them with a specific insurer, since you are a broker and you can go write policies for different companies, what things should people be looking at as to ratings for these insurance companies?
Right. So every insurance company, I guess, abides by their own guidelines as far as how they assess a risk that they're looking to insure, right? So from your perspective, you want to, there's a bunch of different things that insurance companies look at. Some of those being if you're married, how long you've had insurance, if you've had continuous insurance, meaning you've maintained coverage on your home or your car for an extended period of time. Insurance companies are going to look at that and say, okay, this is a reliable risk. They maintain their monthly payments. They have had minimal claims. These different variables factor in what your premium will be. Insurance companies run what's called an insurance score. So they take a look into these different variables, how long you've had insurance, who you've been with, how high of liability limits that you've maintained, say, on your auto insurance. And they kind of put these all together and say, okay, how much do we want to write this risk in this area? And then from there, you kind of are rated on your premium, and your premium reflects that rating.
Okay. Now, with regards to deductibles, I get this question a lot, is how much should my deductible be? What goes into your analysis about deductibles?
So deductibles, as far as home and auto insurance, are extremely flexible. So the way deductibles work, as far as the premium, as far as rating on your premium are concerned, there's an inverse relationship. Okay, so if you raise your deductible, it's going to in turn lower your premium for the year. If you lower your deductible, it's going to in turn raise your premium for the year. So what I like to do is I like to present the client with whatever you're most comfortable with paying out of pocket is going to be the best deductible for you. If you want that super low deductible, keep in mind your premium will be higher for the year, but if there is a claim, you're not going to have to pay as much out of pocket. However, if you have more cash flow and you don't mind that higher deductible to have those monthly payments as low as possible, that's an option. It's really an assessment of the client's personal situation and what they're most comfortable paying out of pocket with. I always just like to say there's an inverse relationship on the premium. How price sensitive are you?
Fantastic. Well, Caden, thank you so much for joining us today. We'd love to have you back. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, how best to get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is email or phone. My direct line is 312-764-5723. My email is caden.gilliland@goosehead.com. I'm available around the clock, and I'd love to have a conversation.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time out, and we'll look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.